The scanty audience was the first to be let in on some serious allegations from the premier's former employee, who classified his job description as being a bodyguard, driver, trainer, cook, and, quote, everything else. Gary Lightburn testified that he worked for the premier from 2003 until 2005, but before he began his description of what that was like, he was questioned on the matter of land by senior counsel to the commission, Alex Milne. According to Lightburn's testimony, there were several offers for conditional purchase leases made to him for land for which he did not apply. He said, however, that he had applied for a plot of residential land specifically in Chalk Sound and a commercial plot to build a gym in another part of the island. He said instead he got offers for a commercial plot in Chalk Sound and another commercial plot on West Caicos. He said he never applied for either plots. One plot in particular he received, 0.26 acres in Grace Bay. He refused because it was too small for the gym he wanted to build and was also underwater. As for the plot on West Caicos, he said he did not take up that offer either, and he had no knowledge of what happened to it. Lightburn testified that his reasoning for these plots that had not been applied for in his name was that it was, quote, a political game. He said he got them around the time of the 2007 elections, and in the Five Keys constituency at that time, quote, that was the thing. That testimony was later challenged in cross-examination from the premier's lawyer, Edward Fitzgerald, who suggested, with clarification from Autumn Branchell's counsel, Ariel Mizik, that when applications are made for land in a specific area, if the requested parcel is not available, then another parcel in the vicinity will be offered to the applicant and reflected on the application as being the parcel that was requested. Discussions turned to Lightburn's tenure with the premier. He testified that he made numerous trips, many of which were for leisure, around the world with the premier and his then personal assistant, Mark Fulford. He said they made trips to places like St. Lucia, Barbados, England, the Bahamas, Washington, Prague, and Monte Carlo. He said that he felt, quote, dissed by the premier on several of these trips. He gave a lengthy account of one trip to the Grammy Awards in Los Angeles, where he, the premier, Honorable Branchell, and Fulford were attending. He said when they got to the event, he found out there was no ticket for him, and he was asked to wait outside. He talked also at length about a similar incident, this one in Washington, when the premier attended the National Prayer Breakfast. He said he was once again left outside. The incident that ended it all, he said, was during a trip overseas. He said on that trip, after accompanying the premier as his bodyguard to a meeting, he was asked to take a cab back to their destination a short distance away while the premier drove away in a car. He also said that the trip was during the time that there had been a flood on the island. He recounted that Honorable Guillermo Williams was also on the trip, and upon learning about the flood, advised the premier to return to the TCI. However, Honorable Williams ended up leaving, and Lightburn and the premier remained behind. Lightburn remembered that he also wanted to leave when he heard about the flood, because he said, quote, we weren't doing anything. Lightburn testified that when they returned to the TCI from that trip, he went on a vacation with the intention of never returning to work, and he severed ties with the premier, saying, quote, I cut him off. Before the lunch break, Fitzgerald carried on with cross-examination, suggesting that Lightburn was disgruntled at the fact that the premier's then-wife, Letha-Rae McCoy Mizik, had advised the premier to get a new personal trainer. Fitzgerald said that it was at that time that Lightburn lashed out publicly against the premier and became his bitter opponent. Lightburn testified that that was not true. He said, quote, I didn't want that dumb job in the first place. The hearings adjourned for lunch, with Lightburn scheduled to continue testimony, followed by the Honorable McAllister Hanchel in the afternoon session. For WIV4 News, I'm Joy Del Trail.